Hello students, welcome back. Today I am Anuradha from DPS Haldwani Lamachor going to start another topic, or we can say another chapter, that is chapter number 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants. Okay, so in this chapter what we are going to start, the name itself indicates that morphology of what? Of the flowering plants. If you will recall the previous chapter, in case of the plant kingdom, we have done that Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. But out of those divisions, we have done that Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. We have done complete. But we didn't discuss about this higher plants. Okay, those flowering plants we have not discussed about. So we will discuss about those flowering plants here in this chapter. So when we are talking about the morphology, what does it mean? It means that outer appearance or the external appearance of these flowering plants. So how it will look like. For example, there are different parts of the plant. We all know that if you will see any plant, it is having proper root, it is proper having stems, then leaves, then flower, fruit, seed. Okay, so this is the all about the flowering plants, and that only we have to study in this chapter, because by the external appearance we can discuss that what will be the root, what can be the different types of roots, some modifications are there. So everything about these things: root, stems, leaf, flower, fruit and seed. Okay, now any plant start from where? From the seed. When the seed will germinate, then what will happen? For example, if I say it is a seed, I have taken this dicot seed. Okay, dicotyledon seed is there. When we will sow the seed, what will happen? This is the land. Okay, now here it will give rise to some above part and some below part. Is it clear? So the above part, okay, it is known as what? It is known as the plumule. What you will say? Plumule. Okay, and the lower part we will say radicle. Is it clear? And the point from which this plumule will start, it is known as epicotyle, and the position from where this root will start, this position is known as hypocotyle. Clear this thing? And always epi means above, hypo means below. So it will be above. Clear? And I will not say plumule. So here the whole structure which will develop from this part, which is we said epicotyle, it is the radicle, and these radicle will give rise to the whole plant, isn't it? Leaves, and in these leaves you can see the flower also. Okay, some stems are also there in which leaves are present, right? So these are the different parts of the plant. Here what we want to say, the plant starts from the seed, and this seed will give rise to that radicle, and this radicle is giving rise to the root of the plant. And that's why we can say in any flowering plants we are having two systems. What are they? Root system, in which we will talk about only roots, and another one is the shoot system, in which we will study about the above part, which we will study about the stems, stems, leaves, flower. So all these are situated in the shoot system. Clear? So if you will see here, this is the root system, and these all comprises under the shoot system. Okay, so one by one we will study it here, that what does it mean. Clear? So now if we will talk about the root, if you will see the root is arising from where? From the radicle. So how it is arising? You can see that it always move towards the gravity. Okay, gravity means downwards, vertically downwards. When something is going, what we will say? It is going towards the gravity. So always the root will grow as a positively geotrophic in nature, and the shoot will always grow upward. Okay, there is one experiment. If you will invert the pot in which plant is there, so what will happen, that plant or that stem will always try to move upward. Okay, if you have inverted, if you have kept in a slanting position, still what will happen, for example I am trying here that if I have taken one pot, okay, and I have inverted this pot, right, not like this, I have inverted this pot here. So now what will happen, the plant which is growing from here, okay, they will again try to move upwards. This is the thing, why the stem always move upwards, because it grows against the gravity, and this is one, this is known as the negative, this is known as the negative geotrophic, okay, or the negative geotrophis. Geo means gravity, trophis means to the movement, right here. Now another thing about this root we have done, it is a positively geotrophic, and we are not talking about the stem here. Okay, stems are what? They are the negatively geotrophic. Here I have explained it. So then there is a positively hydrotrophic. Always and always the root will try to move towards the water, because the function of root is to uptake the water and minerals from the soil. So what it will do, it will move towards the water. It means that they are positively, or we can say towards the water. Okay, their movement, they show their movement towards the water. That's why we can say these are the positively hydrotrophic. Clear? Now another one is the negative photoperiodism. What is the meaning of photoperiodism? When the plant will move itself towards the light. Okay, but sometimes what happens, if you will talk about the root, are they responding to the light? No. So they are not moving towards the light. What they are growing, these roots are growing against the light, because we can say shoot are the positive photoperiodism, because they are using this light and they are showing the movement towards the light. Okay, but the root are always and always what? They are the negative phototrophism. Okay. So this is a general feature of the root here. Now if you will talk about this root, as I have said, these roots arises from where? From the radicle, because here I have drawn the dicot seed. So here we have classified the root system. We have classified the root system into the two parts. What are they? Taproot system, and another one is we can say fibrous root system, or we can say adventitious root system. Okay, so one by one we will understand that the taproot system is what? In which there is primary root, secondary root, tertiary root. Okay, so we can say these three types of root, they comes under what type of root system? Under the taproot system. Okay, they comes under the taproot system. So what does it mean? As I have said, taproot system means when, always and always, when the roots develop from the radicle. When the roots directly develop from the radicle, it is known as what? For example, this is the radicle, okay, and directly roots are forming from here. So what you will say? This is taproot. This is the taproot system. Okay. Again, we have classified into three: primary, secondary, tertiary. Okay. So what is primary? The first root. Okay, or the root, those are arising directly from the radicle. Directly from the radicle, those are known as the primary root. And the roots which develop from this primary root. Okay, the roots which develop from this primary roots, these are known as what? Secondary root. Okay, and the roots which are developing from this secondary root. Okay, the roots which are developing from the secondary root, these are known as tertiary root. Okay, so now it is clear what is primary, what is secondary, what is tertiary. So all these primary, secondary, tertiary comes under the same root system, that is taproot system, and it is the feature, it is a unique feature of all the dicot seed. If you will see, or if you will sow those seed that are the dicots, all they will show these type of root system. Okay, now one by we will understand that what we have said, that primary root is what? It is arising directly from the radicle, the first thing, and always and always they grow vertically downwards. Okay, the primary root always grow vertically downwards, and if you talk about the secondary roots, they grow obliquely. Okay, you can see here that all these secondary roots which I have drawn here, this is secondary roots. So all these roots develop from where? From the primary roots. So they will show the oblique form. Okay, side by side इनकी growth होगी. Okay, now what about the tertiary root? Tertiary root arising from the secondary root. And another important point, so these roots can grow in any direction. Okay, primary root कैसी थी? Just like the vertically downwards, secondary obliquely, and the tertiary can grow in any direction. Right here, so we have done all these three types of root, and again they comes under the taproot system. So what is the adventitious root system? Okay, it is another the adventitious root system. It means that adventitious means extraordinary. Okay, extra means that those roots which grows from anywhere. Okay, these roots can grow from either stem, these roots can grow from sometimes from the different parts, nodes and internodes also. Okay, so that's why we are saying adventitious. It means that another or along with the radicle, okay, they can grow from anywhere from the plant, and that's why we are saying adventitious root. And one of the example of this adventitious root is the fibrous root system. Okay, so in this adventitious root, fibrous root system is present. So what are the fibrous root system? If you will see, in case of monocot, in case of wheat, in case of rice, in case of maize, all the Poaceae family. Okay, what is the Poaceae family? The grass family, in which the root, this wheat, rice, maize, these comes under the Poaceae family. So if you will see the structure of that root, what you will see that, for example, seed is present, and directly seed, what will happen? These are the stems. This is a shoot system. Directly from here, you can see that some fibrous like structure is developing. Okay, that's why I'm saying that they directly can grow from the stem. Okay, and these types of root system can penetrate into a soil very distance place. Okay, so these can spread in a wide range, but this fibrous system don't have that much strong root as compared to the this taproot system. Okay, so you can see that this type of fiber, in which fiber like structure is present, directly they are forming different cluster of fibers here. That's why we are saying fibrous root system, and fibrous root system is another example of having adventitious root. It means that sometimes the roots can be developed from the stem also. In many plants, again I am giving the example of sugarcane. In case of sugarcane, in case of maize, some what you will see that roots are some small roots arises from the stem also. So this is also a part of adventitious root system. Okay, because the roots are not developing from the radicle unless they are growing from any other part except the radicle. Okay, so we will understand that what are the different examples, how they are growing, and what can be the feature. Example I have written here, grass, okay, monstera, and the banyan tree. You all know about the banyan tree. Have you seen that prop roots which is arising from this banyan tree? Isn't it? The roots are coming from where? From upwards towards the downward side. Okay, and this during this time what will happen? This is providing stiffness to the tree. That's why it is there. Okay, and they are the roots, but these roots are coming, these roots not arising from any radicle, and they are arising from the stem, or they are arising from the stem of the banyan tree. Prop roots are there for that. Now root system we have done, taproot system and fibre root system. These taproot system mostly, or we can say always, it is present in case of dicot one, and in case of fibre root system they are mostly present in case of the monocot family. Okay, now there are some function of root. So whenever we are talking about these roots, whether this fibrous root or this taproot, what you are observing here, that they are doing some function. Okay, what are the different functions here? In up to here we only know that there is a function of uptaking of water and minerals, but there are some more important function of root. That is, the first one is fixation. What do you understand by the fixation? It means that it helps the plant to fix into the soil, or we can say that it is providing anchorage to the plant so that they can stand in a soil in a very definite manner or in a good manner. So what they are providing? They are providing fixation as well as anchorage to the plant. Okay. Now absorption. Absorption for what? Absorption for the minerals or the water which is present in the environment. So what these roots are doing? These are absorbing those water and nutrients from the soil. Okay. So this is the second function. Third function is storage. Now you will understand that these roots are also function as a storing organs. Okay, they act as a storage. Example, in case of sweet potato. Okay, we know about the carrot. We know about radish. We know about the beetroot. So all these are the examples of what? These are the examples of root. Okay, and these roots are modified in a swollen structure, and these, for example, I am drawing here that this radish is there. Okay, this is also a root. Radish is also a root. So what it is doing? The part is developed into a swollen structure. Okay, इसका जो part है वो क्या हो चुका है? Swollen structure, and this swollen structure helps them to store the food here, right? So we can say that these roots are also act as a storage. One thing I want to add here, that we will not give the example of potato. We will say that potato is also storage, but yes, it will not come under the root, because potato is not the root. It is what? It is a modified stem. Tubers of potato are always a modified stem, so they will not come under the example of the roots. Clear? So here we have done that storage is the function of the root. Then aeration. Aeration means to respire. We know that plants are also respiring. As we people are respiring, so plants are also respiring. So they need oxygen. Okay, at night what they are doing? They are taking the oxygen. So for that they need root. With the help of roots they are taking the gases from the environment. One of the best example is what? Example in case of we can say marshy areas. What happens? That mangroves are there. So these mangroves are trying to come upwards. Okay, if I will give the example of mangroves, what happens? That, for example, these are the roots and they need oxygen for their respiration. What they will do? They will ask for I'm just giving example. They will say for the leaf that gives some oxygen, but here they will not be able to give that oxygen to the root. So what roots they will do? They will try to move upwards. What they will do? They will try to move upwards from the soil, and due to this what will happen? The oxygen which is present in the environment, they will able to take through their root, okay, which is coming upward, right here. So what condition it is here? Pneumatophores. The roots which is arising here, these are known as pneumatophores. So in this condition, again we are saying that roots act as a aeration. They are providing proper gases to the plant. Okay, now the fifth function is that conduction. As we had said that roots are useful for the absorption of water. Now that absorbed water should be conducted or transported to each and every part of the plant. The roots have they have absorbed the water and minerals, but this water should go where? Upwards in all the parts of plant. For what? In case of leaves, they need for the photosynthesis. So we can say that conduction is also the function of the root here. Clear? Now if you see this seed will get moved out from here, and now it will develop into a root and a shoot. So that's why I have rubbed this seed. Okay, so what will happen now? One more important thing, if I will draw the seed, the part which is developing from the part which is developing the radical plumule, and the lower part which is developing the radical, it is known as epicotyle, and this part is hypocotyle. Okay, so epicotyle will go above the soil and it will form the upper part, and this hypocotyle, okay, this hypocotyle is what, if you will talk about the modification of root, so this is what, this is the hypocotyle. Okay, this storage part is what, it is a hypocotyle, because from here roots are developing. So now here we will understand that what are the different regions in this root. Here I have drawn one diagram of root which is showing here. So in this root we can see different parts are there. As we have discussed, in case of plant we are having different parts. So in root itself they are having different region, and this regions are functioning for the different thing in the root. So the first one is the root cap. I am starting from the below one. Okay, so the first region of the root is the root cap, and we know that this part is root, up to here it is root. So the cap like structure, or we can say helmet. Okay, this helmet which we are wearing above our head, in our head. So like this root has also having this root cap which will function as a protective one. Okay, this will help the root. How they will help the root? Because we know that root require what, root always try to spread in the soil. If they will spread in the soil, what will happen? Then these roots are very sensitive, or very we can say very soft. If they will penetrate the soil which is present here, they contain some sand, they contain some stone. So what is required? These roots will try to penetrate. Okay, these roots will try to penetrate into the soil, and due to this time, what will happen? They will be damaged by this pressure. But the root cap which is present above the root, okay, the root cap which is present above the root cap, they will provide protection to these root, so that they will not get damaged by any pressure. Okay, so here I have drawn this root cap like this, so that it is showing that it is forms a protection of the root which is present here. The first one is the root cap, which is a thimble like structure. You can see that thimble like structure is here above the root. And what is the function? It protects the tender apex of the root, because these apex of the root is very tender and very delicate, so it should be protected by any structure, and that structure is what? Root cap. Okay, now one more important thing, in case of aquatic plants, they don't need any root cap. Why? Because in aquatic plant, what happens that they don't need any penetration into the soil. Okay, they are just floating in the water, so there is no function for having the root cap. So we can say that these root caps are absent in case of aquatic plants, right? And another one is the region of meristematic activity, means that meristematic zone. So just here, if you will see near the apex of the root, what is there? The dotted portion, it shows that it is meristematic region. Now what is this meristematic region? We have done that. What are the meristem? The meristem is that region where the cell division will be more. It is the place where there will be fast division, and when there will be division, what will happen? They will give rise to the growth. Okay, more the cell division, more will be the growth. So here this meristematic region having some plant growth regulator. Okay, they are having some plant growth regulator. For example, auxin, we know about it, whether it is a root tip or whether it is a shoot tip. Make sure you must understand what I am saying here. The tip of root as well as the tip of shoot, they contains the more and more auxin. Okay, later on we will study about that auxin. What is auxin? It is a plant growth regulator, or we can say that it is helpful for the growth of the plant. So the activity of this auxin is very high at the apex of the root, and due to this, what will happen? These root apex will try to divide more and more, and when they will try to divide more and more, this part is known as meristematic region. Okay, meristem is nothing, it is the zone in which having more and more capacity to divide themselves. Clear? So the same thing I have written here, that region of meristematic activity, the cells are very small in this region, okay, and very thin walled. The cells which are present here, they are very thin walled and having the dense protoplasm, and having the protoplasm very close to each other. If these are the cells, okay, we know the plants are the multicellular. For example, these are the cells. Okay, so protoplasm, so we can say everything is very dense, and due to this what will happen, they will divide more and more, repeatedly they will divide, and as a result what will happen, there will be elongation of this structure. Again understand, due to the activity of this cell division which is happening at the root apex, and due to this what will happen, the zone of root will get elongate. Okay, why? Because they are happening the cell division. So the third zone which will come here, the region of elongation, and this region of elongation is forming due to what? Due to this meristematic region. If there will be no meristematic region, there will be no growth, there will be no cell division, there will be no growth. If there will be no growth, there will be no elongation of this root structure. Okay, and we have done two things, primary growth as well as secondary growth. Okay, what is the meaning of primary growth? When the plant is growing upward, vertically when it is growing, it is known as primary growth, whether in case of shoot as well as in case of root. Okay, and what is secondary growth? When the diameter of the tree, or when the diameter of the stem will increase, okay, it is known as secondary growth. So what is happening here, there will be elongation of the root. It means that vertically it is growing more and more, vertically it is growing more and more, so it is showing the primary growth of the root here, and this primary growth will lead to the elongation of the root, and more the root will be there. What is the function of increasing the growth of root? Why we are saying that it is need that root should be grow? Because if root will be if the length of the root will be more, what will happen? Then the surface area will be more, and we know that larger the surface area, more there is a capacity to absorb the water and minerals. Right here, so we have done that the region of elongation, is nothing, it is a rapid elongation due to the meristematic region, and the region will get increased here. Clear? Now the region of maturation, when they will get elongated, now there will be some time when the cell division will be less, because I am saying that at the apex part the cell division will be more. As you will move further, the activity of cell division will get reduced. Okay, and due to this what will happen, now they will get matured. So this region is what? The region of maturation, where the cell division activity will be less. Okay, now when it will get mature, it will give rise to some root hairs, isn't it? And these root hairs are nothing, these root hairs are what? Which is penetrating into the soil, and they are functioning as the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So the region of maturation is what? The cell of elongation. This cell of elongation will get elongated, and after that it will get differentiated. For example, in case of human also, when there is a fusion of male and female gamete, what happens? Formation of zygote, and after zygote there is a formation of embryo, and in this embryo what happens? There will be differentiation of hand, differentiation of legs. So here also this part is what? Here all the division has done, and here there will be differentiation of the structure like root hairs. Clear? So the zone differentiate and it get mature, and due to this maturation, formation of root hairs, and these root hairs are nothing, these are the epidermal cells. What are the epidermal cells? Those are the outer cell. Okay, endodermal means inner one, and the outer one, it is known as epidermal cells. So the outer cells are very fine and delicate, and it will form some thread like structure which is known as the root hairs, and the function is what? It function as the absorption of water and minerals. Clear? So now we will understand the modification. Here we have done that root is arising from the radical, but now there is need, or we can say there is some function which needs that there should be some modification. Modification for what? Modification for storage, modification for the respiration, because we know that these are the function of root, and it is required that these root will not able to function all the work. Okay, if you will talk about these root, so it will not function every activity. So for all this activity, it is required that there should be some modification in this root system. Clear? So that's why we will study another topic, modification of root. So now here we will understand about some modification of the root. So as we have said, two types of root system over there, that taproot system as well as the adventitious root system. So there will be modification in both type of root system. So here if you will see, in case of modification in taproot system, what was the characteristics of taproot? That roots which will develop from the radical. Okay, so these are the different forms, that is fusiform root, napiform root, conical root and tuberous root. Okay, all these three forms are of what? Of the taproot system. Why? Because they are developing directly from the radical, and radical is developing from where? From the hypocotyle. So this region of the Solon structure, it is known as the hypocotyle. Clear? And from here the roots are developing, that's why it comes under the tap root. So now the first example which I have mentioned here, it is of radish. Okay, have you seen the radish? The structure is somehow swollen at the center one, and this can be the spindle shaped here. And what is the function of all these root? You can see here they are storing something. Okay, so the first function of this taproot system is for what? For the storage. So these roots can be useful for having the storage one. Okay, and this storage is important for us because we are consuming them. Okay, so here the first one is the radish, and this type of structure which will form the root, it is known as fusiform root. And another one is the napiform root. In case of napiform root, you can see the structure just like a top. In case of beetroot, okay, in beetroot, what you can see, that structure of this hypocotyle is swollen at the top, and at the base it is very tapering. Right here. And the third one is the conical root, which you can see in the carrot. In case of carrot, there is a tapering end from above to the below. Okay, so you must know the difference between these three types of root. And the fourth one is the tuberous root, in which the structure is just like tuber form, no definite shape will be there, and yes, it is forming from the radical, that's why it comes under the taproot one. Okay, so all these forms are important for what? For storing the food material. Clear? Now another one is important for the respiration. The modification of this taproot is done for the storage. Examples are these four, and it is also useful for the respiration. As we said that the function of root is what? For the respiration. So how they will respire? In case of, for example, it is given in your NCERT, it is very important, Rhizophora plant. These plants you can see where? In the marshy areas, or we can say in the swampy areas. Mostly we can say swampy areas. In these areas what happens? Everything is like a muddy, and in this muddy part, what happens? There is a deficiency of oxygen. Okay, so what is happening in the swampy areas? Those areas are deficient of oxygen. So at that places, for example, these are the plants which are developing in those areas. Okay, what is happening? For these are the plant. Okay, and these are their roots. These are their roots. Now the whole area is in mud where there is no oxygen. So how these roots will take the oxygen? They were not able to take oxygen. So what they will try? They will try to move upward. What they will do? as I have discussed in the root 1. So what they will do? They will try to move upwards. When they will try to move upwards, what they will become? They will become the negatively geotrophic. They will show the negative geotrophic movement. Otherwise, what they are showing? They are showing the positively geotrophic movement. So here at the apex, or we can say at the tip of these roots, which is developing from the lower parts, they are having some pores. They are having some pores, and these pores are known as what? These pores are known as lenticels. Okay, as well as we are saying these pores as the pneumatophores. Okay, pneumatothores. Okay, what we are saying, these pores, lenticels or the pneumatothores. And now those roots which are bearing these pneumatothores, these are known as pneumatophores, because pneumato means these root like structure, small root, and this phore means what? To bear something. Whenever, for example, we have done sporangiophore. Phore is what? They are bearing the sporangia. So here what they are bearing? They are bearing the nematodes. That's why we are saying these are the nematophores. These are roots known as nematophores. And why they are modifying their roots? Because for taking the respiration. Okay, for the respiration they are functioning like this. Okay, and here example is rhizophora. And another one is the modification of adventitious root. See here, in this case you can see that roots are developing from the radicle itself. They are not developing from any other part. That's why we have kept this nematophores under the taproot system, under the modification of this taproot system. Another one is the modification of adventitious root. What is the meaning adventitious? Other than the radicle. So here the first one is a tuberous root. Same thing which we have done here. Always and always, whenever we are talking about the tuberous root, it means that it will function as a storage function. Okay, what is the function? To store the food material. Now, but example will be different. Here, example is a Mirabilis jalapa, 4 o'clock plant. Okay, 4 o'clock plant. And here, example, another name is that Mirabilis jalapa, because it is forming directly from the radicle, those roots. But here, the roots are not directly developing from the root only. You can see that if you will cut the stem of this sweet potato, how you are growing the sweet potato? Do you know that? You are cutting for the sweet potato. You will cut that the plant and you will just put it in the soil, and from any part there will be formation of root, and from these root there will be formation of the soil structure of the sweet potato. That's why we have divided, or we have kept into the adventitious root, and the function will be remain same, that is the storage one. Clear now? And another one is the prop roots. This is important. What are the prop roots? If you will see the tree of banyan tree, okay, banyan tree is there. Now in this tree you can see that some of the roots are coming from here. So from here, what you can see here, that some of the roots are coming from the upper part. From where it is coming? From the upper part or from the stem. That's why we are saying adventitious, because it is not coming from the root of the plant. So it is coming from the stem, and where it is going? It is going into the soil, and again they are forming those roots here. What they are doing? They are forming roots here. So how? From above to lower parts. Now when it will happen, what they will function? They will function as a support system. What they are providing? They are providing support system to the plant. These roots will act as a pillar. Okay, what is the function of pillar? To give support. So same thing, these roots, which is known as the prop roots. What you will say? Prop roots. And this you can see in case of banyan tree. Okay, example is banyan tree, and here they will provide support to the plant. Clear? Another one is a stilt root. Now what are the stilt root? For example, again if I draw, this is the soil. Okay, now any plant, for example, I will take most of the monocot plants. Okay, in case if you will see the maize plant, if you will see the sugar cane. Okay, if I am taking the sugar cane like this, they are having different internodes, and here again I am taking another monocot, that can be the maize. Okay, now you can see that roots are not arising from the radicle. In all the taproot system, from where the root were arising? From the radicle. So from where you can see the root? You can see the root from the node as well as internode. Okay, so the roots can be developed from here above the soil, and again what they are providing? They are providing support. What they are providing? Support to the plant. Clear it is? So these always grow obliquely, side by side you can see, and these type of root is known as stilt root. Clear? And it can be present in case of monocot, examples maize and sugarcane. Now what about the climber's root? Those roots which are developing into the climbers. Have you seen the money plant? Okay, if you will see the money plant, some climbing like structure is there, okay. So they are having what? They are having some root here also. Okay, they are having roots from here, sometimes from here. That's why what happens, if you will cut any part of the money plant, it is able to grow. Okay, so this type of root which is present in case of money plant or in case of betel, so these are known as climber's root, right here. And another one is the parasitic root. What is a parasitic? Meaning of parasitic is that when it is harming to the host plant. So you can see this type of root in those plant which is harming to the plant, or those who are taking the nutrition from the main host plant. What was the example? Example is Coscuta, daughter plant. Okay, Coscuta, again it is a climbing, and if any tree is present, if any tree is there, okay, if any tree is there, so these will climb like this on the tree, and from here it will take the nutrition, and for taking the nutrition they will modify their roots as a haustoria. Okay, what you will say? Haustoria is the structure which is present in the parasitic root, which help them to take the nutrition from the host plant, and they will affect the plant. Right here, so we have done all the modification of the adventitious root system. One more important thing I want to share here about this banyan tree. Question may be come in the examination. What is the scientific name of this? Ficus bengalhensis, right? As well as question may be that there is a National Botanical Garden in Kolkata, okay, in where you can see the largest banyan tree. Okay, that much is large that it is spreaded into the 4 to 5 kilometer. That's why we are saying that Great Indian Banyan Tree. Okay, the Great Indian Banyan Tree is situated where? In the Kolkata National Botanical Garden, and it is spreaded into the up to area of 4 to 5 kilometers. Okay, so now we will understand about the second part of the plant, that is the stem. So stem, when we are talking about the root, it is growing downwards, okay, and the stem will grow upward. So we can say that what is happening, that stem is the ascending part. What it is? It is a stem, so it is the ascending part, and roots are the descending part of that axis of the embryo. Okay, from that embryo where which is present in the seed. So what is it? Ascending part, and these ascending part bears different branches. Okay, from here you can see different branches, and in these branches again some branching is there. In these branches you can see flowers. Okay, flowers may be there, leaves may be there. Like this, there will be formation of whole shoot system. Some flowers I can draw here. Okay, flowers are also present here. So ascending part, it contains the branches, leaves, flowers, and sometimes for the fruit also. Some fruits can also bear here. Right, and again another point is it develops from the plumule. Plumule is what which will give rise to the upper part. Okay, radicle is giving rise to the root and the plumule part will give rise to the stem of the plant. Another thing, it bears nodes and internodes. What is the meaning of node and what is the meaning of internodes? So here in this part, if I will draw the nodes, what is happening? In the stem, different structure is present. Okay, different structure which will give rise to the another branching. So what it is showing? It is showing the nodes. Okay, so at every nodes there may be a flowering takes place. And what is the internode? The distance between the two node. Okay, the distance between these two nodes, or we can say that this distance. Okay, so this distance is showing what? The distance between these two showing the internodal length right here. So we can say they can bear nodes as well as the internodes. Another thing, that region of the stem where leaves are born. So what is the stem? That from where leaves are forming. Okay, from leaves are forming. So this structure is node, and the distance between these, because they are having different nodes, so that distance it is known as the internodes. Clear it is? What is node and what is internode? Right? Then another one is that about the stem. Generally you can see that stems are green when they are young, but as they will get mature, what will happen? They will become the brownish, or they will become the woody one. Clear? And we know that they are having different crops like annual, which takes only one season. After that it will destroy, and that there is a biennial. Biennial means it takes 2 seasons or the 2 year, and perennial means that they can live for several years. Example, in case of forest trees. Right? In case of forestry, you have seen that this structure, the stem structure will become the woody one due to the secondary growth. Clear it is? Now talk about the functions. Here the function of the stems is what? We know that it is providing branches. It is providing, because it is spreading up above, and it is providing the branches to the plant, as well as they are conducting water and minerals. Whatever the water has been absorbed by the water, so this water should transfer in whole plant. Okay, so this transfer of water takes place with the help of this stem to all parts of the plant. Then photosynthesis, how? Because we know that the green pigment is responsible for the photosynthesis. So here these stems contains different leaves, and here what happens? Photosynthesis takes place, and sometimes stems also plays a role in case of photosynthesis. Then storage of food. You will see later on that some of the stems, after modifying, they will do the storage also. Okay, example, I will talk here about the potato. Potato is what? It is a modified stem, and the modified stem will transform into the storage organ, and that storage organ is tuber, in form of tuber. That's why we are not considering potato in a root. Clear it is? Then again it is providing support to the plant, right? Then protection, how they are providing protection to the whole plant so that they can live properly. Then vegetative propagation. What is the meaning of vegetative propagation? It means that some of the plants they are having the stems. Okay, some of the plants they are having the stem which having the capacity to form a new plant. Okay, from the stem we can cut into different parts, and each part of this stem we can use for the propagation, and they will give rise to a new plant. So this stem is also useful for the vegetative propagation of the plant. Now the stems can be of different types or different forms. You can see the stem like an aerial stem. What is the meaning of aerial? That is placed in the terrestrial or in the land part, and subaerial, it means that some part is present in the land as well as some part in the air. Okay, and the underground stem is what? Those stems which are situated under the ground. That's why we are saying underground stem. So one by one we will discuss about the aerial stem. Aerial stems are what? Those stems which are placed on the land. Okay, if we will talk about the coconut tree, like this. So what is happening? That this tree having the proper stem, okay, and that stem is very very strong, okay. In that condition we will say that erect stem. Erect stem is what? That the whole stem is placed like this and it is very strong stem, okay. And another form of this aerial stem, it is a reduced form. If we will talk about some of the plants which are very light, for example douglas, strawberry, so how they are placed? They are situated in the land very lightly. As well as we can take the example of onion, we can take the example of carrot. In case of onion, you can see that the leaves is just like this, okay. Onion is also a stem, it's not a root. So here onion is present, okay, onion is present, but the leaves are very very weak. So we can say these stems are reduced stem. No particular strong stem is present in case of onion as well as in coriander. If you will see the coriander, very thin part is present at the upper part, right? So we have done two types of aerial stem. Now we will discuss about the subaerial stem. Subaerial stem is what? If I will explain you here, subaerial means somehow they are present in the land as well as in the air. It again can be of two types, creeping or climbers. Now you have seen most or some few plants are there which are creeping on the ground, okay. What they are doing? They are creeping. Or what is the meaning of creeping? Regने की तरह, okay. Some of the plants are like this, okay, and from here you can see the leaves. So these structure which is having proper leaves, so what you will say them? You will say them it is a subaerial stem, okay. It may be in form of this creeping like structure, or sometimes we have seen climbers are there, okay. They are climbing like structure, okay. In case of in case of grapes we can say climbers are there, okay. Now third one is the underground stem, which is present under the soil. For example, that it is potato, and this potato is growing terminally, okay, and this part is showing what? It is showing the stem, and after the modification it is forming the tuber. So this tuber having the proper characteristics of stem, okay. Now we will understand the modification. What is the need of modification here? See, if we will talk about the modification in case of this underground one, during the very unfavorable condition or during the pollination, it is required that food should be stored in some form. So the food will store in which form? In form of tubers. So these modifications are required in case of plants at a time of unfavorable condition. As well as these are also helpful for the protection, because we will understand that like thorns, prickles, all these are what? These are the structure which is formed by the modification of the stem, and they are providing protection to the plant from the animals which are moving here and there around the plant, okay. So one by one we will understand it. The first modification we will understand in the aerial stem modification. It means that we will understand in those stems which are present at on the land. So on the basis of that we have divided into different types. The first one is stem tendril, okay. What is the stem tendril? Tendril means what? Tendrils are present where? In case of pea you have seen, in case of in case of grapes also you have seen those tendril. Like you can see that it can be present axillary or terminally. So now what is the meaning of axillary and terminally? For example, it is a stem, okay. This part is known as what? Axillary part, and this part is what? Terminal part, okay, from which leaves are arising, right? So this part is axillary and this part is terminal one. So this stem tendril can be formed from the axillary part as well as the terminal part. It means that when this axillary part will modified into the tendril, okay, when this what part? Terminal part is modified into tendrils. Have you seen this type of structure in plant? So what are they? They are the stem tendril, in which the stems will modify into the tendril forms. Okay. So we have classified on the basis of axillary and terminal. Example is passiflora flower. Okay. In that the axillary bud will transform, and the another one is what? Another one is the grape. In case of grapevine, you can see that this terminal bud will transformed into the tendril. Clear here? Then another one is the thorns. Thorns, if we'll talk about the thorns, as I have said, it is the stem. In case of this thorns, the axillary bud, what is the this one is the axillary bud. This axillary bud will give rise to the thorns, and thorns are what? This type of structure you can see. In case of pomegranate, have you seen that thorns are present? In case of bougainvillea, you can see these thorns are present. So what are the function of these thorns? They are giving protection from the animals which are moving around the plant. Clear it is? Then prickles. In case of prickles, again it is a modified stem, and this modified stem will act as a climbing one, right? And in these prickles you can see in case of rose. Okay, in case of rose. And what is the function of these prickles? These prickles are helping the plant to protect from the grazing animals. Okay, and another one is the phylloclade. Then I will explain you what is the difference between these three here. Okay, we are talking about the thorn, we are talking about the spines, and we are talking about the prickles. And the spines are present in case of phylloclade. So the third modification of the aerial stem, it is a phylloclade. What does it mean? It means that the stem is get flattened. Okay, what is happening? The stem will get flattened, and due to this flattening, what will happen? They will produce some nodal and internodal part. Okay, in case of cactus or in case of prickly pear, you can see these types of structure. They are nothing, they are what? They are the flattened structure of the stem, and these leaves, okay, the spines which is present here, the leaves which are the spines which is present in case of the cactus and the prickly pear, they are the extension of the leaves. The leaves get modified into spines, and the stem will get modified into this flattened structure, and they will provide node as well as internode, just like the stem here. Okay, and so now if you will compare, we have done thorns, we have done prickles, we have done these spines. So what is the difference between these three? If you will talk about the thorns, okay, this is a stem, so these thorns are coming from internally. Okay, these are coming from internally, so we can say that thorns are endogenously originated. What it is? They are endogenously originated. If we'll talk about this prickles here, in case of rose, what happens? That these prickles are present at the outerward, so they are originated exogenously. Okay, these are light as compared to the thorns of the bougainvillea, right? So here these are endogenously originated and these are exogenously originated, and here the spines are the extension or the modification of leaves. Okay, so we have completed this part. Now the another form is cladode. So now what this cladode is? If I will draw an again stem, okay, have you seen this stem? It's not straight. If we'll talk about the stem here, now what happens that they are having branches, okay, they are having some branches. So now here in this branching will not happen like this. So how the branching takes place? At their which part? At the terminal part, you can see that the stem will convert into what? They converted into the some spine structure. They convert into some spine structure. Okay, spiny structure like this. So it's not a spine, but yes, the structure will become like this. So what it is? It is the cladode. And example is Boucher's broom. In case of Boucher's brooms, the terminal stem will modified into some this needle like structure. What you will call it? Needle like stem. स्टेम कैसे हो जाएगी? निडल शेप में. एंड अगेन इफ देयर विल बी सच टाइप ऑफ स्ट्रक्चर, इन केस व्हाट विल हैपन? ट्रांसपिरेशन रेट विल बी लो. Okay, more the surface area, more will be the transpiration. Same in case of this phylloclade also, in which what is happening? These things are present in case of xerophytic plant. Okay, where we have to control the loss of water. That's why the leaves are not present, and if leaves will be there, there will be more transpiration, and therefore it is spines are present in case of xerophytic plants. Clear? All about the aerial stem. Now we will study about the modification in subaerial stem. Subaerial means I have done that creeping or climbers, okay, which are having some creeping and climber like structure, those comes under the subaerial stem. So what is the runner? Runner is another method of modification in stem. The name itself indicates runner. It means that something which is growing, for example, it is creeping on the ground. An example we can take tube grass or the lawn grass, cyanodendactyl, and what is happening? That whole stem is there, and each stem having proper node and internode, and at every node you can see that roots are coming, isn't it? Roots are coming. So what you will do when you will cut, or whenever it will detach from the mother plant, each plant is able to give rise to a new plant or a new individual. So we can say this form of modification is runner. Clear? And it is present where? In case of grasses. Then another one, the stolon. So what are these stolon like structure? Stolon means that if any, I have drawn land here, and this is the stem of any plant. So what it will do? First of all, it will grow obliquely upward. What is the meaning of obliquely upward? Means side. First it will go at side, then after going side it will grow upward, and then again it will move towards the land. Now when it will move towards the land, they will form the roots. Okay, and now again from this part what will happen? There will be formation of new plant. Like this, when it will grow, again it will grow obliquely upward, and then it will come here and form the roots. Okay, and this will give rise to a new plant. So what is happening here? This part is known as stolon, and this method of propagation, or we can say this modification, we can see in case of strawberry, in case of wild strawberry, or in case of mentha. These type of things is happening. What is happening? As well as in case of jasmine also. That's why we have done that stolons are present in such type of plants which will grow obliquely upwards, then it will give rise to roots from here, and they will give rise to a new plant from that part. Clear it is? Now the third thing which we have to discuss, suckers. What are the suckers? You can see these suckers in case of chrysanthemum. In case of chrysanthemum, what happens that if plant is there, okay, if any plant is there, okay, if any plant is there, what happens at the ground level? At the ground level, it will give rise to the stem from this part. Okay, again what is happening? It is growing obliquely upward, but from where? From the underground. Okay, from the underground part, it is growing the stem upward. Okay, and it is coming above the soil, and here we can cut this part, and we can plant it in another place, so it will give rise to new plant. Okay, and here if it will grow obliquely upward, so from here also there will be formation of new plant. Okay, like this, again from the roots of this one, again there will be formation of this stem like structure, and again this stem like structure will give rise to a new plant. So like this it is spreading itself. Okay, so you can see this type of sucker in case of banana also, pineapple also, in case of the what I have said here, that banana and all about it. An example, chrysanthemum, yes. Then another one is underground stem modification. So here, whenever we are talking about the underground, so we are talking about some part which will modify from the stem which is present in under the ground. If I will draw the example one by one here, and what is the function? Function is that it is helpful in case of unfavorable condition. So the first one is rhizome. This rhizome you can see in case of the ginger, in case of turmeric. Okay, what we are having? We are having rhizome. So how you will draw the structure of rhizome? Like this. Okay, have you seen the ginger? So how it is growing? It is growing vertically or horizontally. How is it is growing? It is growing horizontally. Okay, so how it is growing? It is growing horizontally. Whenever it will grow like this only. Okay, and another feature of this rhizome that they are having nodes and internodes. Okay, you can see this one is node, another one is internode. Two nodes and internodes are present, as well as they are having some scaly leaves. Okay, you can see this leaf like structure in case of ginger. Okay, so what are they? They are having scaly leaves, and these are the features of stem. How can you say that it is a stem when they are having proper nodes and internodes, when they are having roots? Okay, every stem has a root also, and as well as they are having scaly leaves. Clear? And there must be the bird, that may be apical bird as well as the terminal bird. So you can see some bird like structure also in case of eyes. So we can say that this structure which grows horizontally and they are having all the feature of the stem, they are known as rhizome. And when you will grow it, when you will go for the propagation of the ginger, what you are doing? You are cutting it and you are just keeping inside the soil so that it will grow up. And they are the storage organ. What are they? They help as a storage one, and again they are the modification of what? Modification of stem. We cannot say these are the roots here. Okay. Now another one is the example of corm. So what these corms are? In case of Zamikant or in Colocasia, okay, what happens that you can see this type of structure. What type of structure? This type of structure. And again they are having this node and internode. And here you can see some scaly leaves are also present. Everything is same between rhizome and corm. There is no such huge difference. The only difference is that rhizome grows horizontally and this corm grows vertically. Okay, so this corm will grow vertically, and they are also having some root like structure. They are also having roots. They are having proper nodes and internodes. They are having these scaly leaves. Okay. Now the third things which we have to discuss about the bulb. Bulb you can see in case of what? In case of onion, garlic. In case of onion, garlic, what happens? Again it is present under the ground, and here you can see that the stem get modified into the different part. Okay, the stem will modify into this bulb like structure which is having root also, which is having these scaly leaves also, and these are having proper nodes and internode also. Right, it is. So we can say that again it is a modification of stem in form of bulbs. Right. Now if we'll talk about the tubers, tuber is what? You can see in case of potato. I'm not talking about the sweet potato. Okay, sweet potato is a root, but potato is a tuber, and it is a modification of stem, and that's why we are saying potato is a modified stem. So if you will see the structure of potato, all they are growing terminally like this, and they are also having nodes and internodes. They are also having birds. Have you seen that eyes which is present in case of potato? So what they are showing? They are having proper node and internode, and sometimes you can see some small roots are also there, but in that case no proper roots are there, so they are connected with this nodal part. right here. So again, this is the modified form of stem, and it is helpful for the storing of the food of plant during the unfavorable condition. So here we have completed about the root, we have completed about the stem. Okay, now after that we will study about the leaves. So that's all for today. Thank you.